Tata Consultancy Services, or TCS, dropped nearly 20,000 employees over the last quarter, and reports say they're not done. And please believe AI and automation played a major part in these layoffs, but maybe not for the same reasons that you think offhand. In today's video, we're going to cover what's happening with TCS, one of the world's largest consultancy services based out of India. We're going to cover who's getting fired, why they're getting fired, some of the controversy, and we're also going to talk about who's not getting fired, who's in the most demand. So if you want to remain relevant, respected, and financially free in this crazy world of AI, guys, now is the time to hit subscribe and like. And now is the time to get into the video, because stick around to the end and we're going to talk about which jobs are in the most demand, which jobs TCS, Tata Consultancies are really looking for. This is, I think, important if you want to keep making money. So what's interesting here is TCS dropped their numbers and they're 20,000 employees lighter since the beginning or since the end of last quarter. But what's interesting is TCS HR came out and said, listen, we just fired 6,000. The rest were voluntary. People just left the organization. Well, the critics claim that TCS deployed pressure tactics that made it unworkable. People said, I can't work here anymore. You're putting too much pressure on me. I am out. And quite frankly, maybe that's the case, maybe not. Regardless, they're 20,000 lighter at this point. But what's interesting is critics are pointing that TCS is going to actually fire another 80,000 employees by this time next year. Now, that's kind of speculation. We don't know. But what we do know is that companies, big consulting companies, are certainly restructuring and reorganizing. Why? Again, AI is playing a major role in every single level of every single organization. It's huge. Now, there is also a possibility that some of the changes with the H-1B visa program here in the United States did impact that. I actually recorded an entire video on the H-1B visa. I'll put a link to it here. But the Trump administration is slapping a $100,000 application fee on the H-1B visas, which is going to make it a lot less appealing for US-based companies and tech companies to bring people over from India to work. Because it's a $100,000 application, it becomes very, very expensive. Okay? But I think what we want to get into now is essentially who's getting fired. Who's getting fired? Who's losing their job? Because if you're in one of these fields, you probably want to be aware that things are changing. Now, within Tata themselves, what they're saying is that we're not laying off people because of AI and automation. We're laying off people because there's a skill mismatch with our customer demands, with our clients. Again, if you're a consultancy company, if you're delivering, in this case, Indian workers to US companies or global companies, you're going to want to make sure that you have the right people for those jobs, right? And if not, if there's a skill mismatch, well, you're not going to be there anymore. So what I read by skill mismatch is these people are not evolving with the market. They have these legacy skills, legacy the experience that just doesn't translate into this new world full of AI and automation. That's, guys, what people are hiring for now. We're going to talk about that in a moment here, a little bit more detail. The other thing that I find interesting is that, and again, Tata is very careful. They're not being super upfront about who they're getting fired, but it does appear, based on my research, that a lot of middle management and senior roles, kind of like that bureaucratic bloat and administrative bloat that happens over time, they're getting laid off. They maybe don't have the technical skills. They're expensive. They slow down the pipelines. These are the type of people who are getting laid off. And I think this is important. I've been thinking about this a lot recently with the organizations that I work with for lead generation and marketing. I'm thinking to myself, well, if I was let go, or if I took a 6-month break, what would the impact of this company be? Would it work better? Would it operate more quickly? Would it operate more streamlined? What would the performance be? How am I measured? And if I were to be let go, how would that impact the organization? And if my answer is, well, I think things would still run okay, that's a problem. If your answer is everything would fall apart, well, then you're probably in a good place. But just be real with yourself, be true with yourself. Because if you are in middle management, if you are in leadership, and if you were to take a 6-month break and things would be okay, you're on the chopping block, my friend. You're on the chopping block. You need to start evolving. And I know you guys don't like it when I say it's time to upskill. Someone in a video the other day, said, oh, it's just a rich guy in a rich neighborhood talking about rich people problems. Guys, I'm just trying to say that you do have some agency. You have some control in this new world. Yes, of course you can upskill. Of course you can read a book. Of course you can learn new things. Of course there are opportunities out there. And I'll prove it to you. There's this, I'm getting a little off topic in just a moment to get back, but I just want to say this. If you you get back what you put out. And if you walk around downtown and you are frowning at everybody, people are going to frown back. If you walk around downtown and you got a big smile on your face, you are going to get smiles back. You're going to get back what you put out. And if you put out, it's the end of the world, nothing's going to work, I can't upskill, AI is going to take over every job anyway, it's hopeless. My friends, the opportunities are not going to come to you. Life is a mirror. You understand? You get back what you put out. Okay, anyway, so don't just upskill, guys. Do it for you. Don't do it for me. Do it for you. Do it for your families. Okay, so we talked a little bit about who's getting laid off. The other roles that I think are pretty obviously being laid off is what they call bench roles. These are employees that maybe didn't have billable hours. They just weren't meeting the quota of demand. So, you know, we don't have a place to put you. There's a skill mismatch. You're out. Okay, but what is to me really interesting in this round of layoffs and what's happening with TCS is the intense focus on AI. And Tata committed to retraining 100,000 employees annually on AI. And I covered this recently in another video with Accenture. I'll post a link to it here. Accenture laid off, I can't remember the exact number, thousands and thousands of employees. I want to say 11,000. Anyway, Accenture laid off thousands of employees, and they also committed to upskilling 550,000 workers with AI. Tata's doing that as well, 100,000 workers. Guys, these companies are spending millions, if not tens of millions of dollars to train their teams in AI. Why? Because guys, this is an on-demand skill, guys. Understanding how to do this stuff is on demand. Just to give you a stat here, between January and April of this year, AI-related job postings more than doubled. More than doubled. People want to hire others employees that know how to or are excited about AI, period. If you're not excited about it, if you're not learning it, you are not going to be able to find good work. I'm sorry. I mean, listen, you could get into trades and stuff like that, but if you're a white collar worker, if you're in software engineering, if you're in middle management, upper management, you need to be using these tools. I don't know what to tell you. So what did Tata do? Well, it's not 100% clear exactly how they're going to be training their teams, but they put out intense encouragement to explore AI tools, to join hackathons, to get hands-on, to actually start experimenting. And quite frankly, that's exactly what I'm recommending to everybody watching this video now. Start playing with tools. Myself, what I'm most excited about is AI agents and creating my own little army of micro agents that can go out in the background and perform tasks for me. So that's what I'm looking at. Maybe I'll put on a course about that, or maybe I'll hold a workshop where we can talk about that. Let me get a little bit more experience before we do that. And by the way, if you're enjoying this video, you definitely want to sign up for my newsletter at aiupdate.ai. It's completely free. Get the newsletter. I'm sharing the best stuff that I find for the week, my best hacks, best softwares, best prompts. Go to aiupdate.ai. You will not be sorry. I'm putting in a lot of effort into making sure that it's valuable for you. So go over there and check that out. So let's kind of start to close this down with, well, we've looked at what jobs are being released from TCS, but what are they actually looking for? What are the jobs that are in demand? Let's face it, you want to feed your family, you want to remain relevant, respected, financially free, you got a wife, you got kids, you're gonna need to generate some income. So what are the jobs that are generating income? What is Tata really interested in upskilling? So the first of which is generative AI. You're putting in a prompt, you're getting a result back. You're generating, and I know people like to say that AI is not creative, but that's essentially what we're talking about. Understanding how to get the best results out of AI. Okay, generative AI. Cloud computing, data storage, cloud computing, cybersecurity. Cybersecurity is huge. Guys, cybersecurity is absolutely massive, especially in a world where privacy is becoming more and more of a unicorn. Like, can we actually live in a privacy-based world? I recorded a video here the other day. I'll post a link to it here. It was pretty fascinating. I think 10,000 people have watched it, hundreds of comments about robots and getting robots in your home. Do you think you can have privacy if there's a robot in your home that's watching and listening to everything that happens? Check out the video here. I think you're gonna be fascinated by that video. And then the last like really major one that Tata's looking at is quality assurance for self-learning AI systems. And guys, I think this, to me, I talked about AI agents and whatnot, but I think this to me is one of the most important skills, and one of the reasons we should be learning these new AI tools is getting the quality assurance, making sure that the quality is there, the data is there. I use AI to prepare these videos and to do research. And it's very important to me that the data I bring to you guys is accurate and legit. So I'm back checking, I'm checking sources, I'm checking Reuters, Business Insider, Bloomberg. I always put references in the description, right? And one of the things that I found that's interesting is sometimes I will get a reference to like a junk website, a junk blog on a junk website that's clearly just ChatGPT copied and pasted. And it's referenced by ChatGPT, and then it's feeding ChatGPT. Guys, we have understanding how to get good output and understanding how to make sure that the quality of our responses there is really important. And this is something that's, again, been a big focus of mine with some of the organizations that I'm working with, is making sure that our first-party data within our CRM is accurate, is up to date, that the team knows how to update, knows what to update. That's a whole struggle on its own, getting people to do what's needed to be done. People don't like to change, but regardless, quality assurance is a big one. So guys, what do you think? Do you think that you're well prepared for this new world? Do you think that Tata is just putting profits over people? What do you think about upskilling? Do you think it's too late to upskill? Put your comments below. I want to see them. And guys, by the way, if you like this video today, you were going to love yesterday's video. I cover, I think, a really common talking point that I hear people say, which is these companies are blaming AI for layoffs, but it's not actually AI, it's other reasons. And university professors are coming out and saying that these corporations are basically lying to us. So if you want to hear more about what's happening within the layoff world and whether it's an AI reason or if it's something else, and if it's all a big scam, check out yesterday's video. I think you're going to like it. And again, understanding the job markets is really crucial to performing well in them. All right, boys, I'll catch you next one, all right? Peace.